Yo, welcome to Sports and Street Talk. My name is Josh Portis.
I'm Rob Gordon.
And today we got a very special guest in the building, man. We over here all the way at Delaware State with the one and only DeSean Jackson. Y'all heard him. He a 3-time Pro Bowler, 15-year All-Pro.
Yeah.
He's one of the best deep threats to ever play the game. I personally believe he's one of the best deep threats I've ever played in the game.
I would agree.
Welcome to the show, baby.
Welcome to the show.
You already know, Joe.
I would definitely agree.
Come on, man.
Come
You
on.
already know, bro.
Listen, he was a Redskin. He was a Philadelphia Eagle. I preferred you when you was with us. You know what I mean? Like, you was definitely one of my favorite deep threats to watch. Let's talk about the transition, how you transitioned from being a player, a deep threat, to now a head coach at HBCU, Delaware State.
Yeah.
How was that transition, and how do you feel right now going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me, my perspective of, playing ball all those years and, now having an opportunity to coach and be in the head coaching position was, for me, I never kind of expected that. I never dreamed of it. I never envisioned it. It was just one of those things where when I played at a high level. I poured everything into being the elite receiver, being a viral moment every time the ball touched my hand. That's kind of what I patterned my career off of. So, now I'm in a position where I'm able to, get a chance to coach and teach these young men at a HBCU, not too far from where I played in Philadelphia. Like you said, DC's right down the road. Yeah. Finished in Baltimore my last year. So I think for me, man, it's just a blessing, an honor. It was crazy how it even happened and presented itself because, like I said, I never thought that I would be a head coach, but I thought, potentially I would be a coach. But when we was young and we played, you seen your coaches, how much time they spend in the facilities.
A lot.
And I was always one of them dudes, like, man, when I'm done playing, I'm cool. Like, I got other things I'm going to do, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I sat around and was chilling, man. And, after a year sitting around chilling, man, I was like, man, I need to get up off the couch and do something, bro. And my older brother was coaching high school at Lawndale at the time in LA, and it's like, let me go try to coach and see how it was, man. I kind of fell in love with it, bro.
Yeah, so what do you think about, like, the kids now? The kids now is not like how we were. They got NIL deals, they can transfer portals and all of that.
Sure.
How does that go into, like, the building of your program, your strategy, your coaching philosophy? How does that go into all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day, man. It's unfamiliar territories. I think a lot of people, a lot of coaches, just even been coaching for a long time, and now this era we in now is a lot different. So I think everybody's trying to navigate through it. I think, you're trying to find out what you can do, what you can't do, what are the rules, what are the regulations, and from there, it's just new territory. So, I had a player come in my office, was like, Coach, I'm going to the highest bidder, so it's like crazy.
What? He said what?
Man, he said, all right, Coach, I'm going to be real with y'all. I want to go to the highest bidder. And I'm thinking, like, damn,
That's
if I would have been back in college and I would have said that, or when I was in high school or whatever the hell, if I would have told that to a coach, they'd have probably looked at me like,
man,
who you think you is?
What's up?
You feel what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy. I mean, Jack, we known each other for a long time, man. I'm talking about all the way back, childhood friends, man. I remember the days we used to go on the beach and run sand dunes together. We was always competitive. You always carried that competitive spirit, man. Yeah. Watching you from high school to college to pros.
Yeah.
How's this competitive spirit transition over to the head coaching? You're leading a group of men. First year doing it. Talk about some of the pros and cons about just being a head coach.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, man, is it's a lot of things that don't even have to deal with the in between the white lines. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that's off the field. Playing in the league. I played in the league for a long time, and so I was removed from the ins and outs of what you had to do in college. You know what I'm saying? Going to school, making sure your grade point average, making sure you're doing the right things in the community. So like. It ain't half the battle is in between the white lines. It's more like making sure these dudes, when they leave here, they're going to school, they're going to study hall, they making sure they're not doing no crazy things out here in the community. So I think transitional wise is like, now that I'm a leader of a university, like that's the moral of the story. Like, you got to cross the T's, dot the I's, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that, from top down, like I don't just have a position. I don't have 7 guys that I have to make sure straight if I'm the wide receiver coach. I got 105 guys and I got 20 coaches. I got to worry about compliance. I got to worry about admissions. Like, it's a lot of things that I got to worry about, and it can get overwhelming as a head coach, especially HBCU. Resources, staffing is short. So it's navigation, man. You got to figure out your way through it. And I look at it as when I was younger. Nothing wasn't for certain either. Like, we had to figure out stuff. Sometimes I didn't know where that meal was going to come from that night on the table, but my parents figured it out. Yeah. So I feel like we've been prepared for this. So now we here. It's just time to get it on, man.
I got a real question. y'all gonna play Norfolk State, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And Vic was your quarterback at one point.
Right.
How you feel about that? Like, what's that?
Yeah.
How does that dynamic? Do you text him like, "Hey, we're gonna whoop y'all"? You know what I mean? Like, y'all,
Yeah.
do y'all go back and forth? Is that the new rivalry that we got to look forward to in the MEAC? Like,
It's been heated. It's been heated for sure, but you know the respect and the love is there. You know,
sure.
you know, Vic was one of my favorite quarterbacks I ever had a chance to play with. You know, we built some special memories on the field.
Yeah.
So like now transitioning to the coaching side of it, it's like, and we playing in Philadelphia where we scored a lot of touchdowns together.
I wanted you to talk about it. I just wanted to open it up so you know what I mean? So I can see the expression on your face.
I mean, I think we going, all them years we came through that stadium, entered on the field, played on the field, and now we entering it a little different way, and now we on the sidelines coaching against each other. But we got the home side, so we got the home locker room, we got the whole, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna get heated. But you know it's crazy, man. Since we both been in this position, his coaches done said little things. You know, our coaches done said little things. You know, Marcus said a few things and heard in the media. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his brother Marcus.
Marcus. Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, it's all good, bro. Like, you know, I could pop it if I want, but I ain't even for that, bro. Because at the end of the day, I know where the real battle gonna take place at. You know what I'm saying? So leading up to it, you know it is what it is. But them 3 hours,
they got
you already know they gotta have a K on the end of their name. You know, for the 3 hours. You know, after that I'ma love you up. We're gonna get it on. But yeah, we on one.
Yeah,
it's all that malicious mindset. We not friends. We not homies. But after the game, before the game, we can holler.
Yeah, for sure. So now your mentality as a player was completely different than I hear you as a coach, right? And so how do you separate the two but also bring that dog into the conversation? Because you coaching up young men in the position where you were once at a point in time in your career, right?
Sure.
So, you know, and then do you give them certain things that you had? Like your dad gave you certain things to make you a dog, you know what I'm saying? So do you give them those same tools that you had, or you have a different bag of tools because you did play at the high level? Like, how does that look as a coach, but also, you know, being somebody that was in that seat?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I could say is I try to implement, you know, how I was as a player.
Yeah.
I try to implement how the coaches that I played for, how I respected them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it about those coaches, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, John Gruden? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it that as a player, I'm like, you know what? When it's on in the heat of the moment, I'm gonna go to bat for that dude. I'm gonna give it my all. I ain't gonna bullcrap. You know what I'm saying? So like, I figured me as a player and, you know, the coaches that coached me that I respected, I combined all that and implemented as one. So as you see out here, like, you know, my players, my coaches, like, we all got one goal, we got one vision. There ain't 5, 6 different morals we trying to, like, you know, it's the grit, it's the glue, at the end of the day, the standard is the standard. We not dumbing our standard down for nobody. I don't care if you're a star to the lowest man on the totem pole, you know what I'm saying, including myself and the coaching staff as well too. So I think, you know, for me, it's aggression. We gotta play with aggression. We can't be friendly. We gotta be violent. You know, we gotta swarm to the ball. On offense, we slide. You know, that's our goals, and that's our language and our terminology around here. So
you got a motto you coach by?
Man, honestly, I'm a player's coach, bro. Like, you know, like I feel like the coaches that, like I said, you know, that I really put it on the line for is the coaches that I understood, that I could relate to, that I could call and talk to if I got an issue or I got a situation like that. That's what I want through my team, you know. So, man, it's still a work in progress. It's not perfect, but you know, you find the ins and outs of, you know, hey man, if I lay the law on this, you know, who gonna follow that law? Who gonna kick back? Who gonna be who gonna go against it? You know, it's just like you gotta look for that, because when you got a whole team, everybody, if they not on that same beat, you're not gonna be able to have that success. Sure. So, you know, that's what we're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, I can totally agree with what you're saying. Talking about just the staff as a whole, coaching staff first year, picking a staff, you know, talk about that process and, you know, kind of, you know, how'd you go about, you know, selecting some of the coaches that you had on the staff, and talk about just have that support staff all being united as one. How could that lead towards success? Yeah,
I think, man, picking a coaching staff for one is the ultimate, like, number one important thing when you putting a football team together, first and foremost. You know, reaching out to the guys that I respect at the higher levels and that had the success. I mean, even Coach Prime, like, you know, you can't have the success unless you put people around you that can make you be successful. You can't do all, it's not impossible. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, John, all these coaches that have success do not do it by themselves. Pete Carroll, you know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, like, you got to place and implement great men, great leaders, You got to have followers around because everybody can't be an Indian, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody can't be a chief. You got to have more Indians than chiefs, you know what I'm saying? So that's just the mindset and the mentality. But I think, you know, over our experience, man, we got 60 years of college experience. And I mean, no, 60 years of NFL experience, 45 years of college experience. So we got, and everybody ain't going to go to the league. That's the moral of the story. But, I mean, if we could, you know, change 5%, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, and just they cross the stage, they graduate, you know, they bring that degree home, that paper that can't nobody take that paper from you, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, and even in life, you know, like being a father, being a citizen, being a respectful young man, like, you know, that's the characteristics and the principles that we raise in here.
So you did talk about Prime. So you talked to him. I know you
Sure,
talked to
that's my
Prime
dog, 100%.
and had that conversation because he went through. He was at Delaware State. He was talking about the facilities and how he made that transition. So when you talk about coaching and coaching styles, is it somebody specifically you pattern your game after, or you got your own?
Yeah, nah, I think honestly, bro, like I take bits and pieces of people that I see have success, that I either personally know or I done personally been around and they done coached me, you know what I'm saying? So then that's how the Coach Jack era or the Coach Jack wave is going to be, you know, implemented off of. So, you know, me, I think the biggest thing is just having a player relationships, man, with these dudes, man. So when it's time for them to put it on the line, man, they're going to respect it. And they're going to know, they're going to say, you know what, Coach Jack, he ain't policing me, he ain't my father, but at the end of the day, he's a role model and he's somebody I respect because I've seen him do it at a high level.
For sure.
And he's going to be respectful of us. But now when it's time for business, it's time for business. Now, if you fucking around or you doing things you're not supposed to be doing, I got to discipline you, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I think we got a mutual understanding, we got a mutual agreement. And I think a lot of these dudes, they've been looking for that, you know what I'm saying? Because in the past they didn't have that. Like last year, their culture wasn't it. And I don't disrespect whoever the coach was at the end of the day, but what we building here, man, it's night and day, man. If you were to see last year's team to what we doing right now, man, it's night and day.
It's a complete turnaround, Jay.
Yeah,
100%.
You know, from just the atmosphere to the culture to the environment to the staff to the players that you bringing into the program. Talk about kind of like the portal now, like, you know, every college team is having a GM now. Like, you know, these kids are making money.
For sure.
You know, is obviously, you know, you made quite a bit of money in your playing career. You know, is there any relation to like how you control players and how they entertain their finances and making money and talk about financial wealth in regards to, you know, what they're doing in college now since they're getting paid at an early age instead of getting paid at the pros?
Yeah, man, honestly, I think that the game of NIL has drastically changed, and it's for a good thing. But if you're not level and you don't have the right people around you in your circle that's coaching you financial literacy, that's teaching you about financial planning, that's teaching you about taxes, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to get money now. Like, just look at the big schools. A lot of these dudes are getting more than they were making their rookie year in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not tapped in on a different level with that stuff, man, like, I done seen it. Like, guys get money and they satisfied and they content. And this ain't even the real bag. The real bag is at the next level, you know what I'm saying? So I just think just navigating through that and just like when I'm able to touch, you know, these young men and put my hands on them and, you know, guide them in the right directions, I'm implementing people around them where I'm like, look, man, let this dude right here help you out. I ain't even telling you to put your money there. Learn the game. Yeah. Once you got the game, then you can feel comfortable where you want to put your money or who you want to place it with, or if you want to go to Merrill Lynch or Golden Sachs, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the education that, you know, these bigger schools, you know, are doing. So, you know, at the smaller schools, they're not really doing that. And you go pay, you know, we got like 10 guys on our team that are NIL cats. Now you go pay them $20,000. That's life changing to some of these guys coming from HBCU. And then, you know, they get that money. And if they go blow through that $20,000 and they don't save $2,000 or $2,500 for taxes,
you're gonna get cooked.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just the mentality, man, and let them know. You know what? Set yourself up as a business. Go create your business. Yeah. Put yourself on as a worker and pay yourself, and that's a tax deduction for you off the rip. Yeah. So you're gonna save your bread. So that's some things that I'm trying to, you know, accomplish and do here.
The reason why I asked that is because I feel like, you know, player self-development is lost now in college athletics, even in pro sports. I mean, you have some pro teams that have their own player self-development department, you know, but college, I feel like, you know, can definitely enhance on, just putting rules in place to make sure, majority of these kids, are walking the right path, because, we all can't control all of them,
Or even just a financial literacy class. Like y'all bringing us somebody to teach a class. It don't got to be a long class, 30 minutes to an hour, and just teach it to everybody. I mean, it might be 5 or 7 NIL kids, but you might say something that might spark the one in the back brain to do something completely different. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about some of the high school recruiting. Like, you getting involved more now in the high school football. Obviously, you've been a part. Obviously, California football is big. Everybody knows California football. But talk about something like recruiting, and are you excited about just kind of navigating different areas and where you can find certain players in different regions? Talk about recruiting for you.
Yeah, recruiting in an organization, in my eyes, is the number one thing when it comes down to the talent and the production that you put out on the field. The reason why I say that, I'm a first year head coach, right? So I'm coming into a scenario and a situation where majority of these guys on the team weren't my picks, they weren't my guys. Yeah. And I'm gonna be real with you, when I came here, I said, how the hell did you get a scholarship to some guys? We went through spring ball, I evaluated, I gave everybody a fair chance to show me what you got. This Division I ball, regardless of where we at. Delaware State is D1 ball, HBCU we D1 ball, right? So for me, I mean, I'm like, man, I can't do it. Like literally I had to reconstruct our roster, bro. It was a lot of talent here, but then it was a lot of mental, heart, scared to fail. It was just all over the place. And then it's like, now I'm here, I'm like, all right, I know what I want. I know how I play. I ain't expecting everybody to be D-Jack. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I wasn't the biggest. I wasn't the strongest, but at the end of the day,
I'm sure it was the fastest.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had a talent. So what I did good was I tried to find talents in everybody. Like even if you're a big dude, let me find your strengths. Let me find your weaknesses. Smarter. And then what I did, I had to put together off of your weaknesses to somebody else's strengths. And I don't think people understand that as a team. You're not going to have 11 starters that are going to all be all-stars. Yeah. You're not going to have, we play Madden, you got the star underneath you. It's only maybe 2, 3, maybe 4, depending on what team you playing with, that have the guys with stars underneath them. Yeah. So my vision is if I could find 7 guys that are solid, I could cover up 4. Yeah. I could hide and scheme and plays and other things. Like I don't need 11 ballers. Give me 7 and the 4, I'ma hide you. I'm gonna protect you.
Yeah, you protect
you. I'm gonna protect you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest thing, man. When you putting together a roster, man, just find the guys that could do what you want them to do, and then if they can't, we gotta coach them up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say, we done got some dogs in here, man. Like we look a lot different. If you was here in spring, I wish we could have did this in spring in there right now before we started training camp. I promise you, turn
separate. It's a bit different.
Damn, real.
That's some kids though.
For sure,
I did too. Now let me ask you this: what is a recruited kid from D-Jack? Mm-hmm. Like these not necessarily your guys; they your guys now. Mm-hmm. But if you was out recruiting a kid, what does that look like? Like what is the ideal character of the kid, the discipline, the structure? What does he look like? Home like what does that look like for you?
For one, you got to be physical. Okay. You got to have a football savvy, football IQ. You got to know the game. You got to be a student of the game. And I think just your worth ethic, like like how hard you gonna work,
like a dog.
Yeah, and I don't expect you to know everything, but like if you fuck up 150, 200 miles per hour, you can't be messing up at 60%. Right, you feel what I'm saying?
Right,
we gonna correct. Yeah, we gonna correct it in the classrooms. I just want my dudes to run through a brick wall because I'm gonna protect you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you in position. My coach, we're gonna put you in positions. So with that being said, man, it's just like the integrity, man. Like I want integrity of men. Like I want hungry. Like I don't want content. I don't want people that's like satisfied with mediocrity. Like that kills me.
Yeah, that's terrible on the team. That killed the morale of a team. So let's say when you talk about captains, because everybody, you got to pick a captain. Yeah. Out of these dudes, what they got to show you on the field for them to be a captain? You know what I mean?
Good question. I would say for sure leadership. Yeah. I would say can you take over the room? Mm-hmm. Do people, when you speak, do people listen or do people turn around like, oh, I ain't listening to that dude? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And did the body of work add up to what you talking about? Because I play for dudes that did this a lot, but on the field they didn't show up. Yeah. I don't want them type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? The type of guys that I want is my leaders. And I wasn't even no rah-rah dude. But when it was time to get it on, my show was on the field. Like I used to clown. I used to be like, man, I'm a clown, and hopefully everybody follow me because I'm doing it on a high level on the field. You know, so I think it's different roles of leadership from every individual. You know what I'm saying? And like even the guys that may not be a rah-rah leader, like I'm trying to pull that out of them because sometimes your guys, the leaders may not even know that they leaders.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta pull it out of an individual to say, you know, and then too, you gotta build these young men up. You gotta think, we come from society puts us against. Like they don't give us a chance. You know what I'm saying? We be real. Color our skin, it's already hard for us. So growing up, it's a generational curse where you grow up, your parents maybe not be together, one parent fam, you know what I'm saying? Like your mom, I'm raising you. I ain't got my dad got killed, my dad in jail, my grandma raising me, my uncle, you know what I'm saying? So we already got a lot of trauma and built up stuff that is already against what we trying to do. So you gotta think a lot of these young men here, they never been taught like, hey man, you doing good, man. Hey, you
proud of you, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Man, keep doing your thing. Like, hey man, you a hell of a, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think that is reassurance too. Like I'm doing something right, and like instead of you seeing somebody mess up, like I may even see you mess up, and I still, you know what, good job. Like you'll get it next time. Instead of, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta trick them, and it's just like anything else. I'm like, you know, when we was younger, you try to holler at a female, you like, damn, you know, I can say something to get her. You know, it's just the same thing. We just dealing through it on a different level.
Managing a lot of emotions.
For real, bro.
On a fast-paced level, I'm managing a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
You at Delaware, right? You talk about this region, right? You know, you're an hour away from Philly.
Yep.
You're an hour 20 away from New York. You know, you're 2 hours from DC. Obviously, being part of the Philadelphia Eagles organization, you think being close to where the organization's at and being Philadelphia is going to be an added bonus to your success here?
I think it's external help for sure, man. I think the outreach, I think the fan base. I mean, I can't go nowhere without people knowing, like, man, that's D-Jack, you know, Philadelphia Eagles or Washington Redskins or Baltimore Ravens, you know what I'm saying? So off the rip of that, and my mentor was saying, like, that plays a big part on even why I'm here. Because when I first heard Delaware, I'm like, where the hell is Delaware State at? And I've been to Delaware once in my career, once in my life. But when I was playing for the Eagles, I came down here to the military base. So in my eyes, I'm like, I don't know where Delaware is, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But when I came out here, I'm like, wow, I'm that close. Like, it's a tri-state, bro. You got Philly, you got DC, you got Baltimore, you got New York. I'm like, shit, if I really wanted to do something, I'm in a great location.
You're in a great spot.
Because you play for all three different
all three spots.
I think I'm hey, Jeffrey Lurie, hey, Ravens owner, hey, the Commanders, I'm right there. Reaching out, bro. So now it's great to have the resources, it's great to have the support, man. I think, you know, what we trying to create here, what we trying to do here, man, at Delaware State University, man. Come out, man, support the games, you know, help change the culture, man. Because I promise, I tell you, when we had the success, you know, it's going to be everybody. It's not just going to be me. It's going to be the community. It's going to be the people, the businesses here. Like, you know, what we trying to build here, man. I want everybody to come here and feel like a part of this, you know. It's going to be special.
I think you having, you know, kind of like an open door policy and kind of feeling things out for yourself firsthand, I think goes valuable because you want to see first thing through your lenses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say things and, you know, it may not be the right communication, maybe not be the right factual information, but you want to see it through your eyes so you can validate that clarity and that factual information for yourself. So having that open door policy, I think is going to be big.
Yes, sir.
Kind of talk about, you know, some of the players that you have on the team that you're excited to see, you know, this upcoming season.
Yeah, who you like?
Man, I would be cutting myself short if I just named a few players. Man, I want to say the whole team, bro. Like I'm ready for team, man. But you know, in particular, man, we got the quarterback position that's going to arise. I'm not going to say no names, you know what I'm saying? But our running back room is nice. We got some receivers. Our O-line is put together. D-line,
coaching your run backs.
You know what I'm saying? The defense stepped up, the linebacker stepped up, man. Safety, like, man, for real, man. We got some special teams players. Like, I'm for team, bro. Like, you know, when I was younger, you know, I used to always be like the prima donna and the flashy one, but like now I'm the head coach, bro. It's all about the team, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a good thing too about playing and having the success I played at, you know, because now it's like everything that I did wrong, I got a chance to correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it comes from a position where I had a lot of success getting by and doing how I did it. But just to think, like, damn, if I would have just switched it up or did this, how much more success I could have had. So now I'm in this position. I'm like, I'm not going to allow my guys to do the faults or mess up how I did. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of this nation, man.
Let's get to you though, D-Jack. You know, you got a lot going on. You got businesses going on outside of football. Your head coach, your father, man. How do you balance life, work?
How does that happen?
How does that simmer down to you when you lay down at the end of the night and put your head on the pillow? How does that feel for you?
Man, it's a blessing, man. I just had another young boy, man, that was born like 2 weeks ago.
Congrats.
Another addition. Yep, I got all boys, man. You know, and for me, man, like, I be so dialed in, you know, the family time is what gets me by, you know, because when you working and you locked in, you know, it kind of takes you away from your family, you know, when you're on this road and you're on this mission. And that's kind of how it was my whole career. That's why when I retired, I was with my boys every day, you know, took them to school, had them under my wing. But, you know, this opportunity popped up. I'm like, man, you know what, I gotta lock in, because I know this opportunity don't always happen. It don't always fall in people's laps like that. So, you know, I'm going to take it to the extent. I'm going to do what I got to do with it. And I'm going to just push these boys in the right direction, man, to help change their lives, their families' lives, you know what I'm saying? And,
that's dope.
You know, just put on for the name on the front and the name on the back of them jerseys, you know? So, you know, it's a blessing, bro. The business is still going. You know, investment's still going. You know, you got to have people in the right positions to be taking care of everything, because, you know, I'm kind of removed away from the day-to-day availability to do. You know, I have my own podcast with Shady. You know, it's just a lot of things, but we gonna still turn it up, bro. You know, I'm gonna still have my podcast going throughout the week. You know, like, I'm gonna still get my stuff off, because, you know, who I am as an idol, as a celebrity, as a, you know, future Hall of Famer, like, all that stuff got to coincide to this coaching, to everything I'm doing outside of coaching. That makes sense.
Nah, it definitely makes sense.
Jack, you got one of the most prestigious records, though, bro. I'm sure you know.
Man, all time, man. Shit, all time record. 60.
I'm mad.
Go ahead and
give it to the people.
I got 60. I got the most touchdowns in NFL history, over 60 yards. I'm hot about the 50-yard one, because I was like 1 or 2 away.
Yeah, you was 2 away.
And I really feel like I should have had that, because, you know, overthrows and all types of other shit that happen. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But all time, I'm tied for 75 yards and longer of touchdowns. You know, with Allsworth back in 19-something crazy stuff. So
60-something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So them 2 records alone, man, and, you know, the 50 yards, being the names of a Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. I mean, like, come on, bro.
Goated.
You know, like, at
you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say it, goated.
Nah, for sure. And I respect that. You know, at the end of the day, you know, whenever it happens or however it happens, first ballot, second, third, I don't even care. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's deserving, because the stats speak for itself.
Yeah, the numbers is the numbers. You can't argue with the numbers, and the numbers have always been the numbers.
One thing I always respect about DeSean, man, and I had a chance to play with him briefly in high school, though, but in his college and his professional career, man, he always carried himself like he's the best player on the field, regardless of position.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I respected. You know, and that's that competitive drive that he always has, and it's gonna carry over to coaching, man. And I'm really excited for this opportunity for you, man. You know, I think you're gonna do wonderful things here, D-Jack. I really do, and you know, the sky's the limit, man.
Nah, for sure, man.
One thing I wanted to talk about before we get out of here, your strength and conditioning program, man. Like, talk to me about that. Like, how you guys getting the guys
because they behind us working out right now.
Behind us ready. You said from spring to now, it's been a transformation.
Yeah, he out there getting it on, man.
Talk to me about him and. You know,
yeah, who is it? How y'all bring him in?
That's Coach Page. Coach Page was already here. Actually, he was already the strength and conditioning coach. You know, he got some background in the league and college as well too. So, I mean, he do a great job with these guys. Strength and conditioning is very important. Like, you got to be hand on hand. Strength and conditioning, head coach, the training facility, the training staff, like, all that got to be hand on hand. Because if anything slacks off or is not up to par with that, bro, like, that's a hole in the leakage, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he does a great job. Them dudes out there working right now, man. We literally start camping in one day. You know what I'm saying? They start camping one day. They doing striders right now. You know, I just wanted to acclimate them, get them back, you know, going before we start training camp. But it's on, man. I'm excited about this, man. We ready to go.
DSU.
Yeah, come on, you see it.
Looks like y'all got a little speed out there, man.
Check them out, man. You see it, man. All four groups, man. All 5, man.
But I appreciate y'all tapping in and shedding light on us, man.
Absolutely.
You know, anything I could do to help what y'all doing, man. Likewise, you know, we all for each other, man. Come back out, shed some light on us, man, and
absolutely
come support, man, for real, man.
Absolutely.
I give y'all all access to the games, whatever y'all need, man. Come on, tap in with me,
all
man.
access, Sports Street Talk.
Check us out, www.sns.net for all the latest episodes, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Check us out, sportsandstreettalk.net. All right.
Sure.